flicker of a flame in a broken mind, and shadows crawling where the truth won't shine. Blood on the ink, silence in the screams. Welcome to the edge of your darkest dreams. Scrolling through the wreckage, faces on the screen. Another name, another ghost caught in between. Sirens in the distance, echoes in the night. The facts get buried where the fear ignites. We chase the story, truth or myth. A cigarette burns where justice sits. Headstones and headlines, digging through the dirt where the dead still cry. Whispers in the bylines, truth don't sleep and the lies don't die. Dust in the frame, a cold case heat with a soul to name. Steel in our voice, fire in the tone. We bring the buried stories home. Lights on the tape, blood on the wire. A cold world burns in a baby on fire. Headstones and headlines, digging through the dirt where the dead still cry. Whispers in the bylines, truth don't sleep and the lies don't die. Don't die.
Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I hope everyone is having a good day. It is really warm here. It has felt like summer the past couple of days. And they had said initially rain most of the week, but we really haven't gotten any. It's gone either, well, at least where I am. The storms have either gone south or north. But tonight we are supposed to get storms, and thankfully tomorrow it's supposed to cool down. So today I spent the day inside with the AC on. I cleaned out my laundry room, which needed it very badly. So I decided to do a live because, as some of you may know or not know, there were several tornadoes yesterday into this morning, specifically St. Louis area in Missouri yesterday afternoon, and overnight there were tornadoes in Kentucky, all being deadly. According to the New York Times, there are at least 23 who have lost their lives, and I hope that the number doesn't increase, but I feel like it might, because especially in Kentucky, they were all sleeping. They were sleeping. Most of them were probably sleeping. So thanks for being here, Sinner, as always. Gerda, good to see you. Coddle, Good to see ya. Road Rash, good to see you. Long time no see. Beautiful day in New Jersey. It's been crazy rain for 3 days. Yeah, I feel like Pennsylvania, Jersey got the rain, and then like north of me, so like, Watertown area, that, Maine, they got the weather. I guess it's good to live in the valley with mountains on either side because it breaks up the storms. Hey Pookie, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey Elite Tiger. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. Thanks for being here. Oh, you must know Pookie. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. Oh, really, Gerda? No tornadoes in South Africa. That's interesting to me. Because it does get pretty hot there, but I mean, gosh, now that I think about it, it's been 98. It's going to be almost 30 years since I went to South Africa. That is crazy. That is craziness. I need to get a hold of my best friend and tell him we need to get back there soon because time isn't slowing down. All right, so as I said, we are going to talk a little bit about the tornadoes in the Midwest. I wasn't able to find a whole lot of stories, like survivor stories, so I'm thinking, because it's so, I guess, new, there aren't really, they're more worried about their homes and finding survivors because it is still a rescue operation in several areas. The photo that I used on my thumbnail was CNN had it and the New York Times also had it. And that just completely, I don't know, it was just something about that photo. This woman, and actually, let me see if I can find it. Oh wait, I sent a screenshot to Sinner. Hold on a second. There we go. Open in browser. There we go. Oh, perfect. Oh, this is so great. So, and I'm going to just share this. So I was reading the New York Times and this video came up in this photo. And this actually, now that I have it in my browser, it is much closer. Let me add this to the screen. There we go. See if I can there we go. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Thanks, Gerda. Member for 1 month. Love your channel. I appreciate that. That's really sweet. Hey, Zero, how are those hedgehogs? Oh my gosh, they are so stinking cute. And I look forward to your videos every day and even your community posts because you have these pictures and they're so freaking cute. It just makes you smile. It's just, good. Hey, Cocoa Puff, I hope things are well where you are and that things are improving. I feel like it's been almost a year. Maybe not, but I feel like since Helene, was that September, October? Gosh, I can't remember. It seems like it was a while ago, but then not long ago at all. And actually one more thing before we get officially started. My kitty, who was at the vet, she's at least 10, and I noticed she had lost weight back in January. So I brought her to the vet. Vet did blood work. Everything was normal. He said, let's just keep an eye on it. Well, fast forward to last week, I noticed she looked even more thin, almost instantaneous. So we went back to the vet and she had lost 0.6 pounds, which is a lot for a cat. So I'm like, oh boy. So blood work was good, except her calcium levels were high, which isn't necessarily a good sign. So anyways, long story short, we have more tests that are being done. I should know the results of those by the end of next week, but she was able to come home on Friday, and the first thing she did was go to the attic door and tell me to open it so she could go up there. So she's feeling herself. She's just losing weight. So I'm just glad she's home, and I missed her so much. She was at the vet for 3 days. Hey, Curious, thanks for being here. Oh, thanks, Zero. Yeah, she's still acting herself and acting like a wacko. She just lost a lot of weight, and she could be older than I thought. She was my first foster through a rescue. She was very pregnant, and she was adopted, but she wasn't eating or drinking. She wouldn't use the cat box. So the adopter, who I had gone to high school with, said, hey, can you just take her back, because I'm nervous, like she won't eat, I don't want her to get sick. So I was like, of course. And 2 weeks later, the house burnt down. So blessing in disguise. I think Batty knew what was happening. So she's been with me ever since, and it's been 8 years. I've had her 8 years, and the vet aged her at 2, but she could have been older than that. So anyways, let's get back to this. I could talk about my cats all day. So this photo that I have on the screen was just, I don't know, just so profound, because it's like a dollhouse, only it's not a dollhouse. It's someone's home that was destroyed by a tornado. And I hadn't noticed initially. I had seen this woman sweeping, but I didn't notice that there's a man in the back, and then there's someone else that looks like behind her. And here she is standing there, almost tidying up. And, looking at this top left, these organizers, it looks like this was probably against the wall. Here's like a little vanity. Clothes are all still there, but the wall's completely gone. It's just so profound. It's an incredible photo. So I wanted to just share that, because it kind of gives a sense of the magnitude of what happened. And yeah. But before we get to the tornadoes, there was an update in Miss Bryant's case, who, if you're not aware of who Miss Bryant is, she was the mom who abandoned her children in a condo for several years. I did make a short on this, so you may have seen that already, but I wanted to show, the whole video, because this mother, one, to me, she appeared very smug and like she thought it was funny. That could just be my perspective. But how she had her children in her phone was even more disturbing. Just cold, like just no empathy. I just don't get it. Yeah. And I was going through stories of what I wanted to talk about today, and there's so many stories. So I might have to do another live tomorrow, like afternoon-ish, evening. But there's this mom and her husband who kept their daughter captive for 7 years. 7 years. And it's like reminiscent of this monster stepmom in Connecticut. And then I saw another story. There was a home with several children that had been held captive. Like, what is happening? What is happening? It's just, I don't get it. But this lady, she is going to trial. She is going to trial. So I will definitely be covering her trial. Hopefully it's televised because her court hearings as of now have been televised. So I'm just hoping that her trial will also be. Oh, good, Zero. I'm glad you're doing an update on this one. I haven't seen anything since the initial reports. Yeah, they gave a little bit more information. Shoot. What I'll do after the live, there was a court hearing. I'm not going to play the whole thing here. This is just a summary. But they had, you know what, maybe I will share the link. I'll put the link in the description of this video after the live, but that might be what I talk about, like what I start with tomorrow, like the lead story, so to speak. But I will share that because a deputy, I think he was a deputy, had spoke, one of the investigators, and they just kind of talked about the conditions of the home, you know, what their observations were. They honestly, what they had said is they thought when they had gotten called for a welfare check, once they got there and the odor, they thought they were responding to a dead body. And turns out it wasn't a deceased person. It was 3 living children. So I just need to make a note so I don't forget. Link in description. All right, so let me start this.
Well, now to a major update. The mom accused of abandoning her 3 children in a home of squalor, facing a judge today.
And who could forget the horrific conditions those children were living in when Oakland County deputies discovered them during a welfare check. That was back in February. Hazmat crews called to clean out the place. Investigators say the children slept alone there for several years, afraid to venture out.
Well, today a judge ruled that there is enough evidence against their mother, Kelly Bryant, and ordered her to stand trial.
That decision coming after new details were revealed in court, with detectives saying.
And this is what she says. She said, "I sacrificed my children." Like, who says that? I mean, obviously she does, but maybe this isn't the clip that shows what she had her children in as. If it doesn't, I'll let y'all know.
And Bryant confessed when she said, quote, "I sacrificed my children." 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels in court as some of Bryant's secrets were being revealed.
Observation was what appeared to be feces covering their clothing.
Oh my God.
Hair.
February 14th, Oakland County Sheriff's detectives were horrified.
I can't imagine these poor kids. You know, it reminds me of the Connecticut case as well, only the only difference is that the stepmom was in the same house as her stepson, whereas here the mom would just text them and drop them off food every so often. That is atrocious.
To find 3 children, ages 12, 13, and 15, living in mold, feces, and squalor, abandoned in this Pontiac home for 4 to 5 years.
I've never smelt a home that smelled that bad without a decomposing body present.
Friday, 3 months later, their mother, 34-year-old Kelly Bryant, was in court physically for the first time for her preliminary examination. Prosecutors brought forth the detectives who found her children and who interviewed Bryant herself. Detective Brish saying he'll never forget meeting Bryant at the police station 1 hour after they found her kids hiding in a bathtub full of feces.
Her hair was done.
I can't imagine. So these children were by themselves. The landlord had called in a welfare check because he hadn't received rent payment for a couple of months. So when police arrived, the stench, and then to find these kids hiding in that feces-filled bathtub. This woman, maybe she needs to live like that. Let her live in squalor and disgust. Freaking sick.
She was wearing what appeared to be new clothes that were clean. She had long, fake nails.
Oh, of course. Her hair was done. She was wearing what appeared to be new clothes, long, fake nails, probably a nice car.
Detectives say that Bryant was always living within walking distance of the children she abandoned. She hadn't touched them or given them hygiene products for years.
So that is something so we're definitely going to go over this preliminary hearing tomorrow, because it seems like there's a lot of details in there that we didn't know. I didn't realize she lived within walking distance of her children. The way it was initially presented, it seemed like she was in the same area, but, outside of, oh shit, hold on one second. The wind just picked up. One sec. Sorry about that. I had to shut my windows. All of a sudden, I heard like whistling, and I look at my cameras, and the wind is wild out there. Hey, Monchichi, how are you? So she, anyways, I'm distracted. Back on track. The fact that she was within walking distance of her children, and she hadn't seen them in 4 to 5 years. She is sick.
She would have food dropped off to them about once a week, and she confessed to detectives.
She knew that her actions were selfish. That was her wording, and that it made her children sick. And that she had ultimately sacrificed her children for her own purposes.
Wow. What a bitch. She knew what she was doing, and she didn't care, because she sacrificed them, because she was defrauding the government. She was receiving welfare payments as well. Upwards of $36,000. She had defrauded the government. Sick.
According to detectives, Bryant's children were found in soiled clothes, hunched over with toenails several inches long. Bryant admitted to telling the children to never leave or open the door, purposely instilling a deep fear within them.
In those interviews, the court heard from all 3 victims about their irrational fear of strangers, pedophiles, and being blackmailed.
Further evidence brought forth revealed that Bryant would communicate mostly with the oldest boy through sporadic text messages. He had his mother listed in his phone as world's greatest mom. She had her children listed as my oldest, kid 1 and kid 2.
So it must be the oldest, which was the boy, had her in his phone as world's greatest mom. Can you imagine thinking that your mom was the greatest while you were living in such conditions? Which tells me that they knew nothing different. They knew nothing different of their mother. And she has them in her phone as the oldest, kid 1 and kid 2. She's pathetic.
I would speak on the severity of the situation and
Yeah,
my
Munchie,
concerns for the
thanks for hanging
children
out.
on their path to recovery moving forward. And typically her response would be, is there anything I can do to help myself?
Detectives said that Bryant told them she lied to all of her family to keep her children hidden. She took the batteries out of the smoke detector in the home, so there was no risk of the fire department or police officers ever coming by. The defense argues that after the children were discovered in their care house interviews, the children did not seem to be suffering from severe mental harm.
Those children were articulate. They were answering questions.
Ultimately, the judge did not agree. She sent Bryant to stand trial on 3 counts of first-degree child abuse and 3 counts of welfare fraud.
And the 3 counts of felony child abuse, the highest sentence is life in prison. And personally, even though she is innocent until proven guilty, in my mind, she is guilty, and she should also have to spend her life in prison. No more fake nails, no more, hair done, nice car, nothing.
There's no question that this is an extraordinary case.
In Pontiac, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
Hey, Marie, how are you? So there she is, Miss Bryant. So I don't know if they had a trial date. Let me just see. Kelly Bryant. Trial date. Okay, why is Brian Koberger coming up? Oh, because I put Brian instead of Bryant? That's weird. So it doesn't look like they have a trial date yet. But I will definitely keep an eye. I can't. I know, Gerda. How do people sit with her in a room and... Yeah. Yeah, Elite. The death toll, as per the New York Times, is 23. At least 20. Actually, they just updated it as we speak. At least 27 have been found dead. It's awful. Hey, Amy Lynn, how are you? It's so sad that people likely knew they were there alone. It's all of our responsibility to ensure our young are protected. We have to be more vigilant. I get it. They were more in like a complex, but like my one neighbor, I think I've seen her twice since she moved in a few years ago. She's not outside very much. So, I hear, I'm assuming her grandkids outside, but if they weren't outside, I probably wouldn't even know there were kids there. But I agree. We have to be more aware, I guess. Yeah, there was that one guy, who said he drove by. Did he drive by or he was on his bike or something? I can't remember exactly. I think he drove by and he had a nice car and he saw the boy outside, or the boy was in the window waving. And the stench, like, wouldn't other people smell it? I feel like especially those who were on either side of that condo, you would have thought something was amiss. I don't know. And never to see anybody going in and out, or I don't know. All right, so we are going to get into the, hang on, where am I at? Oh, here. I'm going to get into the tornadoes now. I have just 2 videos. One is from the St. Louis area and one is from the Kentucky area. As I said, I wasn't able to find a whole lot of, survivor stories, things like that. There's a lot of videos that have the drone footage, which I would definitely, if you're interested in that, check that out. And then I have a New York Times article that I mentioned that I'm going to read through.
We understand the National Weather Service will be in St. Louis this morning surveying the damage. They're the ones we wait on to officially determine whether it was officially a tornado, and then the ranking, whether it was an EF 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So that's what the National Weather Service does. So we'll wait on their call for that. We also know that Governor Mike Kehoe will be meeting with Mayor Kara Spencer, and they'll be giving an update on recovery efforts later this morning as well, around 10:30 a.m. But for now, we are getting a look at the damage firsthand. And we do have Fox 2's Caroline Petty. And earlier this morning, she was outside of a church in North St. Louis that collapsed. And Caroline, we understand one person lost her life there. And Caroline, you look like you're somewhere else now. What are you seeing out there? And what does the cleanup look like here this morning?
Yeah, Laura, I'm about a
Wow.
mile from the church where that woman lost her life, and it's looking just as bad over here in Kingsbury. We're about 3 miles from Forest Park, and as you can tell, these neighbors are dealing with just as much as the people near the church were. There is more help out here, I will say. People already have shown up in this area, but I mean, it's just detrimental out here, guys. I mean, windows are blown out, doors are blown open.
And I also saw that they had significant hailstorm in Missouri. There was a video, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was someone's porch they were videoing, and it was like huge hailstones, and it almost made it look like there was snow on the ground.
There's actually a house across the street from us that has been
Wow, that house is
completely ripped
gorgeous.
apart. I mean, and you look inside of it and you can see the family's computer and a couch, and it's just so
Oh
crazy.
my God. See, like, this is like that photo I shared at the beginning. It's just, it looks like a dollhouse. There's things here, like these things are just still sitting there. Everything else gone. Like, it's
Crazy to think that these were real people living their real lives, and now their homes have been completely destroyed and torn apart, and they don't know what they're going to do next. So there are a lot of cars also driving by, so maybe if you don't live in this area, just stay home for an hour away. It's adding to the congestion, and workers are just trying to get everything together and cleaned up for the people that live here. We're hoping that everyone is staying safe, and we will have more updates from officials as we're about to head to a press conference, so we'll make sure to give you those updates as soon as possible. But for now, reporting in Kingsbury, Caroline Petty, Fox 2 News.
Caroline, appreciate that update. And you saw in her shot, you see right here, the aftermath of the storm is just devastating. We do know at least 5 people died, including a woman named Pat Pendleton, who Caroline was telling us about earlier this morning. Thousands of homes and buildings are damaged across the St. Louis region. And this is all video over North St. Louis, really putting the damage into perspective.
My God, the road completely ripped up.
Here this morning, several roofs collapsed. There's a lot of damage and trees down everywhere, many of them landing on cars and power lines, leaving entire neighborhoods in the dark. Debris is scattered across streets, roads, and yards here this morning.
Oh, I didn't realize it cut off like that. I know, Marie. And the storms aren't over. I believe they are expecting more severe weather. So hopefully not as severe as yesterday, but I just feel like maybe I'm paying more attention, but it just seems like there's been a lot more severe weather and a lot more tornadoes. Deadly tornadoes, I should say. All right, so that was the St. Louis area, and then this is the Kentucky, which London, Kentucky specifically was just destroyed. And there was a couple of other towns that I had seen mentioned where they also had damage. But look at this thing. The thing is massive.
We know now that at least 21 people are dead after a severe storm outbreak that produced several tornadoes across the Midwest. I want to pop up this post here just coming in from Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear saying that they are in active rescue phase. They say that 5 counties have declared a state of emergency and they have 14 confirmed deaths. Sadly, that number likely to rise. We are expecting a news conference with the
And the death toll at this point is at least 27, and that's throughout the Midwest.
Shear later on tonight around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Over in Missouri, at least 7 deaths have been reported there. That number could also rise. We do have Katie Byrne with Fox Weather live over in St. Louis, Missouri with the latest from there. Good morning, Katie. I can see a lot of damage right there behind you.
Yeah, Josh, this is some of the worst damage that we've seen on the west side of St. Louis. We know across the city, 5 people lost their lives when that severe weather moved in last night. It was right before dinner time. And one of those people who died tragically was inside of this church. They ran in to take cover and they got trapped under rubble. 3 people got trapped. 2 people were able to make it out alive, but one woman unfortunately passed away. And we're told by people in this community that she was a moderator at this church. Today, they would typically be feeding the community with a pantry they have here. Instead, the church has really been destroyed. You could see all of the bricks and pieces of the foundation lying around here as volunteers have started to show up in the last hour to clean up what they can as they figure out their next steps. And it's damage like this really across the city. We're seeing it widespread. A number of houses just near us have roofs that have completely just been blown away or just fallen into and crumbled inside of these homes. People have told us it was scary last night. They didn't have much time to take cover. They didn't hear tornado sirens here, and they had moments to find safety. And some people watched their.
Oh, wow. So they didn't, is that what they said? They didn't hear the siren? Let me just back up a little bit.
Or just fallen into and crumbled inside of these homes. People have told us it was scary last night. They didn't have much time to take cover. They didn't hear tornado sirens here, and they had moments to find safety. And some people watched their ceilings crumble into their kitchens. A lot of the people that we've been speaking with say they're okay. They're lucky to feel alive at this point, but we do know some people in this neighborhood did have to go to the hospital with injuries from debris flying into the windows of their homes. We're talking to people on the ground about what things look like next. They say immediate needs right now, food, tarps, because unfortunately we have weather again in the forecast, rain in just a couple days. So people have their homes right now totally exposed to the elements. Dozens of those homes don't have a roof right in this community that we're in. And we know that the likely tornado that moved through this area went further than this. We're going to be making our way around St. Louis, but the thinking is that with any exposed homes, you know, they want to get those tarps covering what they can of their belongings before the next round of rain starts, Josh.
Yeah, and Katie, you can definitely see that people are already out and about. They are doing everything they can to kind of clean up that mess that left behind there. You and I have talked about this several times, but it's situations like this where you see folks kind of coming together to clean up and do everything they can to help each other. And it looks like behind you, that's the same type of situation that we're seeing there.
It is. I mean, absolutely. We're seeing all of these people show up lifting bricks and heavy cement blocks, trying to just clear the sidewalk here. And we've heard from people who live in the community right on the block surrounding this church that there are a lot of elderly folks.
All right. So I must have put the wrong video on here because this is all about Missouri. Give me 1 second. There was one about Kentucky. Give me 1 second. There it is. So I put an extra one in there. Okay, that's okay. We'll finish this one and then we'll get to the one that I thought. I didn't realize I put this one in here. Oh, crap. But it's starting over. Let's see.
We know now that at least 21 people are dead after a severe
I think
storm.
we were about here.
It is. I mean, absolutely. We're seeing all of these people show up lifting bricks and heavy cement blocks, trying to just clear the sidewalk here. And we've heard from people who live in the community right on the block surrounding this church that there are a lot of elderly folks in the homes next door to them, and they were all checking on each other when that storm moved in last night. It was still light outside when it happened, so people had some time to take in what the damage looked like before the sun set and check in on people. But a lot of people told me they spent the night in their cars because they felt their homes shift and they didn't feel safe staying in their homes overnight based on foundation beams breaking and buckling under, just the weight of a roof collapse or just some kind of wind damage that they sustained from the storms.
All right, Katie Byrne there with Fox Weather live over in St. Louis, Missouri. Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the one that I thought was the next one. So this is in Laurel County, Kentucky. This woman's story is frightening. I mean, terrifying. And these are homes, like, just completely gone. And these people were sleeping when this tornado hit.
Starting this half hour with our Sam Carter. He is live in London in Laurel County this morning. This is one of the hardest hit areas we have seen so far.
If it's not the hardest hit area, I'd hate to see anything harder hit than this. Just devastation. At least 15 houses destroyed in this storm last night. One of those houses destroyed belonged to this woman and her family. This is Mahala Watts. Mahala, take me through kind of 11 to midnight last night. What's going on?
We just were watching the news.
So I'm going to assume that her home was behind her, and all that remains is the foundation. Everything is piled on top, which that may not be all of her home. It could be other people's homes. But
and we started getting the warnings on our phones, and we didn't know what to do. We almost left and tried to get to Corbin because we didn't think it was going to hit in Corbin, but grabbed my dog and we got in our bathroom that's right in the center of the house, and immediately, like, we started to hear it and we got down on our hands and knees, and all of a sudden it just rushed over top of us, breathing in all the debris. The mirror in the bathroom fell on top of me.
Oh my God.
And eventually it stopped. We just kind of were praying, scared it was going to come back.
Yeah.
And then got up. Our fridge we couldn't get over the fridge. I mean, we had no idea. The roof was gone.
So the fridge was blocking the bathroom door there.
Yeah, the fridge was blocking us.
And being at night, I feel like that would be even more terrifying because you can't see anything. You're trying to get out. And I mean, this whole area. And I'm curious, I'm not sure. This is a bedroom right here where my cat is. You can see the bed. But I'm wondering where that was, where they took cover. Oops.
We had to climb over the fridge somehow. My mom is, she can't move around very well. So that was a struggle to even get her through this mess. And we went out the back. But then there was people helping us and like, oh, there's another one going to hit. And I started freaking out because we're out here now. But we eventually, my uncle's car worked because all of our cars are destroyed.
Come with me because I want to show your dad's car, which is this white car here. And then when we come around to the other side, this is your car.
Yeah, that's my car. It was,
my God.
Yeah, it was under a carport. Carport's gone. My dad's truck was actually over there in the yard. Yeah, and my mom's van was back there.
The storm moved your dad's truck like 15 feet on top of your car.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And you were saying your mom's car, which is that blue minivan there.
Yeah, it was up here in front of the house, and now it's way back there, windows blown out.
Where do we go from here?
I have no idea. Right now, like, we got a hotel for the night, but I mean, we didn't sleep. My dog is just hanging out there, and we're just kind of sorting through our stuff. I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
The process of picking up the pieces begins for many residents here in Laurel County. 9 people did die during last night's storm, many more injured. We are told that government officials are set to be in Laurel County a little bit later today. We'll be back a little bit. We'll see you then.
Sam, real quick, thank God she is alive and okay this morning, but ask her this.
Yeah,
what was it like to navigate this in the dark of night?
You know, one of the anchors, Carrie Grace, just asked a really good question. She said that she wants to know what it's like to try to navigate all of this in the dead of night. You open that door and your walls are gone. What's it like, you know, in the dead of night trying to navigate all this?
Well, at that point, I mean, yeah, we couldn't see anything. We had our phones, all of our phones were almost dying. And then, I mean, we couldn't get to a charger. I don't know. At that point, we were just panicking, trying to like live, like, because we thought another one was coming.
Yeah.
They said it was coming right for us again. We didn't know where to go. We ended up just going to the hospital and just sitting there until we knew everything had passed, till almost 4 a.m. And then we just got a hotel, just tried to shower off. We were covered in the debris and soot, and yeah.
I'm sorry that you had to go through all of this, guys. Yeah, again, the process of picking up the pieces begins today. It's going to be a long process of recovery, but we will get there.
Awful. I know. I can't imagine the fear going through that either. And then once it's over, you get out, there's nothing left, and you think there's another one that's headed straight for you. And I mean, like she said, we just wanted to live. That's what we were worried about. So we are going to shift over to the New York Times article, which does have some videos embedded in it that we'll take a look at. And actually, let me refresh because they may have updated it. So at least 27 dead after tornadoes and storms tear across central U.S. In Missouri and Kentucky alone, tornadoes killed at least 25 people. The spring storm season has been a brutal one for the region. Oh my God. So this was Scott County, Missouri, yesterday. That tornado is freaking massive. So this must be in Missouri because it's daylight. Oh yeah, duh, I just said that. Oh my gosh. Let me get with it. Holy crap. Okay, whoever's filming, go get cover. And then to think, you know, how do you orient yourself? Because there's no lights, it's dark. You know, I know kind of like how I would walk, like what road, but then just orienting yourself to where you need to go would be difficult, I would think. Oh, here's that house. Let me just back up a little bit. Oh my gosh, and the house next door had the windows blown out, but it seems, you know, the walls are there. And then this one, just all of the bricks just fell. Wow. House next door is...
Sirens came on, the wind started, and suddenly all the doors shut, the windows flew out from the bedroom, the entire back of my house. This is was my dressing room, and
oh, so that's the
straight into the alley now.
That's the house we just saw, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's the vanity and then the clothes, the closet.
The doors shut, the windows flew out from the bedroom, the entire back of my house.
And what's interesting, let me just back up a little bit. This, I mean, it's possible that they put these bottles back up here, but the glasses are still in the bureau. Or I would call this a dry sink. The chandelier is still there. The table. Just so bizarre.
The windows flew out from the bedroom. The entire back of my house. This is was my dressing room. And you can see straight into the alley now. I was sitting waiting on the light to change.
Holy shit, look at those. Those are cars? I keep thinking I'm on YouTube. I'm hitting the K button. Those are cars under those trees.
It turned dark, and after a few minutes, I heard something hit my car, and I turned around to look, and the tree had fallen on top of my car.
Oh my God. Oh, that was that neighborhood that one news station was just at. All right, so the call came late Friday to the Reverend Derek Perkins. 3 people were trapped in the Centennial Christian Church in St. Louis after a tornado had toppled part of its steeple, leaving it in dusty piles of bricks and stones. A signal from one person's cell phone helped Pastor Perkins and emergency workers find those trapped inside. But one of those people, a beloved longtime ministry leader, was killed. I was in disbelief, heartbroken, he said, holding back tears, not only for the church, but for the entire community. The grief and damage there is... Wait a minute, scratch that. The grief and damage there is just a fraction of the devastation from the several tornadoes that have torn across the nation since late Friday, killing at least 23 people in Missouri, Kentucky, and Virginia, and injuring dozens more. Okay, so I hadn't heard anything about Virginia. Let me just look that up quick. Tornado, Virginia. Okay, so it says 2 dead after severe storms blast northern Virginia. Oh, here's an article from ABC News. Let's go over to this one quick. Ugh, these freaking ads. So it says 2 people died in Virginia after trees fell onto their vehicles during storms there on Friday. So it doesn't seem like Virginia may have gotten a tornado, just storms, wind. At least 7 people are dead in Missouri, including 5 killed after strong supercell storms that spurred tornado warnings slammed into St. Louis on Friday, tearing roofs off homes and causing several buildings to collapse. Officials in St. Louis say the damage in some neighborhoods is significant. This is a hard night for many, many families, said St. Louis Mayor Cara Spencer during a late-night press conference. The loss of life and the destruction is truly horrendous. Our city is grieving. Officials said emergency personnel are still focused on searching for anyone trapped in the wreckage and saving lives. Oh, there's that church. That church is gorgeous. Our priority tonight and for the next 24 hours is life. Protecting it, finding those who may be trapped, and getting them to safety, the mayor said at an earlier news conference. Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson said 17 specialized search teams, each consisting of 4 to 5 trained personnel and a police officer, are currently conducting door-to-door sweeps throughout the impact zone. A curfew for the affected areas is now in effect until 6 a.m. local time to keep residents safe and prevent looting. She urged residents to stay off the roads to give emergency crews unimpeded access to damaged areas and also asked people to limit cell phone use due to connectivity issues. The storm struck just after 3 p.m., with high winds battering the city and the first calls coming in within minutes. Officials say the tornado touched down in Clayton, skipped into Richmond Heights, clipped Forest Park, and continued east across the Mississippi River into Illinois. We did an aerial reconnaissance and used AI-based tools to map the path, the fire chief said. There's no doubt this was a very destructive storm. I agree, Marie. During the worst of times, communities come together. In Scott County, Missouri, about 135 miles south of St. Louis, 2 people were killed and others injured after powerful storms swept through area late Friday. This has some typos. Through area late Friday. Scott County Rural Fire Protection Chief Jeremy Perrion confirmed the fatalities in a phone interview with ABC News. We had 2 different areas of the county that got hit pretty hard. 2 different areas suffered a fatality, and we had several injuries as well. Perrion said at least 3 people were injured and multiple homes were destroyed during the storms. After the storm slammed Missouri, the storm spread east Friday into Illinois and Kentucky, bringing the risk of a severe weather outbreak through the night. A tornado watch covers Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, and Carbondale, Illinois, among other cities through 10 p.m. Storms were expected to reach Indianapolis around 7 p.m. The storms were then expected to hit Cincinnati, Louisville, Kentucky, and Jonesboro, Arkansas at 8 p.m. before hitting Memphis, Tennessee at 9 p.m. They were expected to reach Nashville from 10 to 11. Okay, so now they're getting into like nitty gritty. Let me go back to New York Times. Yeah, hopefully they do have good insurance. Okay, so I think this is where I left off because I said about New Jersey. Officials warn the death toll could rise as they assess the damage on Saturday. I would describe this as one of the worst storms in the city's history, said Mayor Cara Spencer of St. Louis at a Saturday news conference. The devastation is truly heartbreaking. The spring tornado season has been especially brutal in this part of the country, coming just weeks after similar storms caused deadly destruction in the region. On Friday, these tornadoes were caused by a major storm over the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic. Gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. A bedroom, and the bed's still there. Against the wall. There looks like a little table there. This man. Ugh. That poor man. All right. Oh, it just says destruction from a tornado in St. Louis. I thought maybe they would have captions. By Saturday morning, government forecasters said they had confirmed 26 tornadoes in a preliminary count. 26? With most of those occurring in Indiana and Kentucky. While that number so far is not the most recorded in a single day this year, there were 107 during a tornado outbreak on April 2nd. 107 tornadoes in one day. States like Kentucky and Missouri were still recuperating from the damage from other storms this year. In Kentucky, at least 18 people were killed this week, with 17 in Laurel County and 1 in Pulaski County, according to Governor Andy Beshear. The governor was touring the damage in Laurel County, about 90 miles south of Lexington, on Saturday. So tornadoes are high winds. So here's the... So red is tornado, high winds is purple. There was a tornado in New Jersey? I hadn't heard about that. Oh yeah, you can see a bunch of tornadoes here, and then this, just this area. So it says data for the 48 hours starting May 16th at 8 a.m. Eastern, during which updates are being made every 10 minutes. High winds are defined as gusts of at least 75 miles per hour. At the London Corbin Airport in Laurel County, hangars were left twisted and flattened. A plane was flipped upside down. Next to it was a damaged medical helicopter. Matthew Singer, the manager of the airport, said no workers were injured in the storm, but several buildings had immense damage. In a neighborhood nearby, Jeff Cornett was seeking shelter on Friday night in his bathroom when a tornado barreled through and pulled him out of the room. An object hit his head, and he was pinned down by debris next to an old suntan bed. Mr. Cornett said his neighbors eventually dragged him out of the debris. He went to a hospital and received several stitches to close a gash across his forehead. I don't know how I made it, he said. Oh, there he is. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. These are kind of... So this was London, Kentucky, these photos. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. This week's storm also comes at a precarious moment for disaster relief efforts, as sweeping staffing and funding cuts have upended the usual processes for getting assistance from the federal government. Officials in both Kentucky... Oh, whoopsies, wait, this is way too big. Officials in both Kentucky and Missouri confirmed that they had been in touch with the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees FEMA. There's no daylight between the delegation, the federal delegation, or the mayor or the governor in that effort to get assistance, said Senator Eric Schmidt, Republican of Missouri, on Saturday morning. The tornadoes killed at least 7 people in Missouri, with 5 of them in St. Louis. 2 people were killed in Scott County in southeastern Missouri, according to the county sheriff's office. In St. Louis, cell phone towers were damaged and traffic lights were down, and there was severe damage to homes and buildings. Mayor Spencer said early estimates showed that about 5,000 buildings had sustained damage. Holly Lammert, who lives near the destroyed church where 3 people were trapped, was among the residents surveying the impact on Saturday morning. Pieces of her neighbor's roof were in her backyard. There were dozens of jagged tree limbs and trunks in her community garden. This poor neighborhood, I don't know how we will come back. As sirens rang out on Friday in nearby Forest Park, a nearly 1,300-acre public park that houses several of the city's cultural sites, workers quickly hustled visitors off the grounds and the handball court into a basement until the wind died down. By Saturday morning, light fixtures were shattered, structures had splintered into pieces, and some entrances to the park were blocked by fallen trees. Steve Burkhart, the facilities and security manager for the Forest Park Forever, which works with the city to protect the urban park, said it's a whole different experience to see how beautiful the park is before and how it looks now. When the storm swept into Virginia, 2 people died in separate instances after trees fell on their vehicles. This week, severe weather hit at a time when the National Weather Service is facing staffing shortages, with nearly 600 people leaving the organization after the Trump administration ordered cuts. In Kentucky, where highly organized storms known as supercells spawn tornadoes, all 3 local weather service offices that provide forecasting and issue warnings have several vacancies for meteorologists. I did see that, Sinner. I think I sent that to you. Lookner was live about it. I'll have to check it out. For example, the office in Jackson, serving eastern Kentucky, usually operates with a staff of 14 meteorologists, but is down to 9. The office is also one of several left without an overnight forecaster, but last night it stayed open and was sufficiently staffed for the night, issuing 11 tornado warnings. It was all hands on deck. The storm system that swept the middle of the country on Friday will bring a slight risk of severe thunderstorms across upstate New York and western New England on Saturday. Obviously, it doesn't have quite the vigor that it had yesterday, said Brian Hurley, a meteorologist with the Weather Prediction Center. A separate system could bring severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds, across the southern Great Plains and a slice of southern Oklahoma and northern Texas, including Dallas and Fort Worth. Okay. Oh, that's power. Oh, and that was it. Let me see. Hey, SG, how's it going? Oh, here's the video I was talking about, New York Times. That's the hailstorm. That's a tornado right there. Wow. Wisconsin even. Gosh. Oh, and they just have other videos. Okay. Actually, while we're because that's all I have about the tornadoes for today. Let me look up explosion. Palm Springs. Oh, here we go. New York Times. One dead as bomb damages Palm Springs fertility clinic, mayor says. What the heck? The explosion happened less than a mile from downtown Palm Springs. A bomb was in or near a vehicle by the clinic. Oh, and I just saw you shared the same article, Sinner. Oopsies. What the heck? So it says American, it looks like American Reproductive. One person was dead in a Palm Springs, California fertility clinic, and several other buildings were damaged after a bomb exploded less than a mile from Unmute. Oopsies, I'm back. Didn't even know I got kicked off. I was so involved in reading the article. I don't know what happened, but I'm back. So thank you. I actually didn't see the muted or the sound. I had seen SG's comment about the tornado that I was going to keep in my mind to read later, and then I just saw Emmy down. So I apologize. I missed your guys's messages to tell me I was muted. I don't know what happened. Don't know. All right. So I don't know what the last thing y'all heard me say was. So if you would just let me know where did you hear any of the article? Hey, BB, how are you? Oh my gosh, thinking of oopsies. Do y'all remember the movie Notting Hill? It was with Hugh Grant. I think it was Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts. And he, I don't know, I can see the scene in my head, but I don't remember exactly what was happening. But he says, whoopsie daisy. And Hugh Grant did. And Julia Roberts was like, did you just say whoopsie daisy? Yeah, such a good movie. Gosh, when was that? Let me look that up quick. Slight detour. Notting Hill. 1999. Wow. That was a long time ago. All right, so I'm just waiting to see. Did you hear any of the article that I read? Or should I just start over? Oh, I was just a sentence in? Oh, wow, that sucks. All right, well, I'll just start over. So one person was dead in a Palm Springs, California fertility clinic, and several other buildings were damaged after a bomb exploded less than a mile from the city's downtown on Saturday. The explosion was in or near a vehicle parked by the clinic, according to the mayor. The bombing appears to be an isolated, intentional act of violence, said the Palm Springs Fire Chief Paul Alvarado. The mayor said it was unclear how or whether the victim was connected to the blast. The person's identity was not known. The make and the model of the vehicle was unclear. All that was left of it at the scene was an axle. So that would tell me, if only an axle was remaining of the vehicle, that the bomb was probably in the vehicle. But that's just my opinion. Reports of a loud boom and images of broken glass and billowing smoke began to be shared on social media around 11 a.m. local time. The blast area extended for blocks and some buildings were severely damaged. A phone number for the clinic, American Reproductive Centers, did not appear to be in service on Saturday. A website for the office listed fertility treatments such as in vitro fertilization and egg freezing among its services. Dr. Maher Abdallah, who runs the clinic, told the Associated Press that the clinic's office was damaged, but the IVF lab and stored embryos were not. Which is good because so many people who want to have children, who struggle to have children, at least all of their eggs and things like that are preserved. I really have no clue what happened, Dr. Abdallah said. Thank God today happened to be the day that we have no patients. The police, firefighters, and medical crews were on the scene. Mr. DeHart said that FBI officials were also on the scene. Governor Gavin Newsom has been briefed on the explosion, his press office said on Saturday afternoon. Laura I. Miller, a public affairs specialist with the FBI, said that the agency had investigators, bomb technicians, and an evidence response team going to the scene. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has also sent field agents and specialists who are en route, according to a spokeswoman. Video showed flames licking the shattered terracotta tiles of the clinic's roof as debris clogged its entrance. Claudio Chavez, who works at an upholstery shop near the explosion, said that his store's windows were blown out. I was just in my shop waiting for clients, and all of a sudden it felt like a big explosion. It took out our window. I just saw a bunch of smoke. He said people came out of homes and businesses onto the street to see what happened. Mr. Chavez, a logistics manager at the shop, said he began picking up debris and sweeping up broken glass. Scott Pastorius, 61, a construction project manager from Los Angeles, was sitting in his vacation home 4 blocks away from the explosion site when he heard a loud boom. My initial response was earthquake, but in a split second, I realized it was too intense. The whole house rattled, and then the glass in the door I saw flexing. Mr. Pastorius said he ran into his backyard where he saw a plume of smoke billowing nearby. He grabbed his camera and got in his car and drove to the scene. The damage was extensive. The Desert Regional Medical Center across the street, a liquor store, and a pancake house had windows blown out. A nearby hotel also had doors blown off and its portico was damaged. Mr. Pastorius said the roof of the fertility clinic had collapsed and the entire back side of the building had been blown out. Debris from the explosion shot across the street to the other curb. That was a very intense explosion, Mr. Pastorius said. All right, so it seems like I would gather that the person who is deceased, I would assume, is probably the person who detonated it, but I could be wrong. So we'll have to see. What time is it? Okay, so I've got a little bit of time. Let me just, before we move to, because I had a few other stories, but I want to just make sure. Oh, I only have one video for this one. Okay. So the next story, I am going to give a viewer discretion advised because it does show some graphic violence. There was a shooting at a gym in Las Vegas. And the first maybe 5 seconds of the video is someone who's videotaping the shooter. So just, oh, and my banner's gone too. What the heck? The whole thing. Hold on, let me put this back up. There we go. So viewer discretion advised. I would either turn the volume down or look away until I tell you it's okay. All right, so let me go here. There we go.
Gunfire in a packed Northwest Valley gym, sending people scrambling for survival, leaving 2 dead and others injured. Good evening. I'm Denise Valdez. We have team coverage for you tonight. 8 News Now anchor Sasha Loft is standing by live near the gym at Rainbow near Lake Mead. But first, new video.
Why isn't my K button working? Okay, so that's done. And it was actually, when I first saw this, it hadn't said how many had died. There is now 2 dead, including the shooter. And you can't even, you can't go anywhere now without being afraid that someone's going to harm you. But people were just, at a gym. And and somebody goes in trying to hurt them. Hey, Zoe.
From our 8 News Now investigators. Kyle Payne in studio with the moment a victim realized he'd been shot.
Denise, it all started when police got a call of someone shooting people inside the Las Vegas Athletic Club's Rainbow location around 1:30 this afternoon. A busy 2-story gym. Tonight, a crime scene. Minutes after the gunman opened fire inside, police encountered him at the entrance. They shoot him several times.
Oh,
You'll see
shit.
it, and we'll see it from a couple different angles, as well as witnesses' reaction when they realized a man was caught in the crossfire.
Oh, man, that's terrible. Okay, can this news station stop showing that? We get the point. Like, come on. What is this news station? Channel 8.
You need to get some help, baby. Let me see that. Oh.
Come on, Channel 8.
Video to an area hospital.
Jesus.
And he appeared, quote,
I'm
okay.
going to send them an
Now,
email.
police confirmed the alleged.
Like, what the hell? What is this? CBS 8. And I guess I should have watched the video ahead of time. I watched the first, like, 30 seconds. I was like, okay, this seems like a good, I'll just warn them at the beginning because they showed it. I guess I need to watch all of CBS 8's videos from now on because they clearly have no, what's the word? Discretion.
The gunman was killed and 1 victim died. UMC confirms a total of 4 victims were taken to the hospital. 1 still in critical condition, Denise.
Kyle, thanks for that. Now, during all that confusion, there were hundreds of people inside, not even sure where those shots were coming from, ducking for cover, fearing for their own lives. 8 News Now anchor Sasha Loftus spoke with several of them as they were filing out of the building, and she continues our team coverage.
Denise, you can see behind me, it's still a dynamic scene here hours after this shooting happened at this LVAC along Rainbow. Now, those we spoke with were coming out of this parking lot. Some were crying, visibly shaken up in their workout clothes. Many were stranded for hours, unable to go back.
Okay, and actually, give me 1 second. I'm just going to scroll through to make sure they don't show any other. Of course they do. Okay, so we get the point. CBS 8, you suck. Just saying. Okay, we're done with that one. I apologize. Hey, Green, how are you? Oh, no. What happened to it? Like storms or? All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the prisoners who escaped a New Orleans prison. Oh, wind. Oh, that's so sad. All right, we're going to move on. So this, I feel like this happened on, maybe it was yesterday, because someone had mentioned it. It must have been in Sinner's chat yesterday. Someone asked if I had seen it. Or if I was going to cover it. And I said, probably not. But I saw that they actually had video. So I'm like, let's take a look, because I think as of now, 9 are still at large. And they're also investigating, obviously they had help.
All right, now to this still developing story out of New Orleans, a day after 10 inmates escaped from a jail there. Some of them have been caught, but authorities are still searching for some of the others, and they say they are armed and dangerous. NBC's Ryan Chandler is following this one for us from New Orleans. Ryan, what's the very latest?
Laura, good morning. As of this hour, 7 of those fugitives are still on the run. Hundreds of agents on a massive manhunt that could span well outside.
But still, 7 is a lot. 7 is a lot.
Outside of New Orleans at this point, law enforcement officials pleading with the public to be on high alert and to share any information that they may have.
Like,
Here's
really
what we know about who exactly escaped yesterday. Jail records show us that at least 4 of these fugitives are charged with murder or attempted murder.
Wow. Okay, so let me take this down. So we have Keenan Dennis captured, Gary Price, Robert Moody captured, Kendall Miles captured, Corey Boyd, Leo Tate Sr., Derek Groves, Antoine Massey, Jermaine Donald, and Lenton Van Buren Jr.
Other charges also include violent offenses, including aggravated assault with a firearm, armed robbery, battery, also drug offenses. Officials say that these men should be considered armed and dangerous. Law enforcement says that they escaped just before 12:30 Friday morning. There is this just jaw-dropping video of the men trying to break through the cell door, then running out of the prison and making a mad dash across the interstate. The jail did not find out that they were missing until the head count later that morning. That was more than 7 hours later. The sheriff's office also releasing some of these photos of their escape route, which includes this hole that they dug in a cell wall, including some parting words that they left with some graffiti above that hole, just simply mocking the sheriff's office, writing things like, "Too easy, LOL, we out, catch us when you can." 3 of those fugitives have already been caught and they're back in custody. One was found in the French Quarter. You can see video of his arrest right here. He was found hiding under a car in the parking garage of a hotel.
He's not a small dude
all day
either.
Yesterday, the public and the press here in New Orleans were demanding answers and accountability from the sheriff's office, many focusing on why the public was not notified of this breach for some 10 hours after the escape. The sheriff's office acknowledges that there were some serious security failures at this jail, including possibly an inside job. They have placed 3 of their employees on suspension, suspecting that there may have been some collaboration from inside the jail to assist these inmates in escaping.
Unbelievable.
And still today, the search continues. Some 200 agents involved in this manhunt. Local police say they do have active leads on the remaining 7 fugitives, but they are saying the public is going to be a crucial part of bringing them back to justice. And they are, again, pleading with anybody who may know where these men are to reach out to them. Laura.
A lot of questions on this one for authorities. Ryan Chandler in New Orleans for us. Thank you.
All right. I have one more. I think it was from a local, local affiliate. Hopefully Fox 8 is a little better than the other Channel 8.
Hunt is on right now for the 7 inmates at large. Maddie Kurth is live outside of Orleans Parish Jail, where it all began. Hey, Maddie, any updates from the scene?
Hey, Rob, good morning. Live here outside of the jail. We do have a couple of transport buses here that say Louisiana State Penitentiary heading out of the jail complex. It's hard to tell if that's related to this case or not of these escaped inmates, but that's the latest activity here at the jail. But on top of searching the city and beyond today for those remaining escapees, the Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson is also looking inward. She launched an investigation into her own employees, so far suspending 3 deputies. Now, Hudson says the jail is only at 60% staff.
Oh my gosh. So let's see what they wrote. So they put too easy, LOL. Some face. It says hate on one side. I don't know. Most hate. I don't know. I'm something. We something or other.
Right now, she and her top officials all saying there are indications
Oh, I'm
that this could
innocent.
have
We're
been an
innocent. We
inside job.
innocent.
So how do 10 people escape from the Orleans Parish Jail? Well, these photos are from inside the first floor of the jail. They show one way these inmates apparently defeated the system. The sheriff's office says the inmates broke through a wall behind a toilet that was out of view from deputies. They apparently did this after breaking a lock and forcing a sliding door to their cell off of its track. Now, while the jail is reportedly understaffed, one former New Orleans police second in command believes that if there were pressing security concerns, Hudson should have requested outside help before something like this.
And that's where your procedures and protocols will come into play. Given the resources that you have to make do with those resources, but you also have to make sure that your facility is secure. And don't be afraid to reach out for outside sources that may have to help you to do your job until those resources improve.
Wow, that's a big jail.
So Sheriff Hudson is looking into those procedures. She says the only...
Oh, and it's right next to the interstate. Makes sense why they ran across the interstate. Wow, that thing is massive.
Only officer assigned to the escapees housing unit had stepped away for food, and that's when those inmates opened the cell door. They pulled the toilet from the wall, got into the recreation yard, climbed a fence, and then crossed the interstate. Meanwhile, jail officials admit that high security inmates were being kept in a minimum security environment.
Wow.
New Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams, he says he will prosecute anyone found helping in these escapes. Rob, I mentioned those 3 jail employees suspended amid that investigation by the sheriff into whether her deputies helped to coordinate any part of this escape. Now, Crime Stoppers tells us they have been getting tips in, and it is helping officers. So you can report information like sightings if you see one of the fugitives, or maybe if you recognize them and you remember maybe seeing them hang out somewhere, even in the past, maybe some places where they're known to be. You can also report that information to Crime Stoppers. The FBI has a special tip line specifically designated for this. You just log on to fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives. And Rob, you can report anonymously those tips.
Yeah, and Maddie, as law enforcement said, no tip is too small. They want to know anything that you see right now, and they'll figure out whether or not, it's a valuable bit of information or not. They're just trying to gather as much data as they can right now.
That's right. And remember, there are cash rewards for information that lead to arrests. So if you do see these people and you are feeling nervous, you can report anonymously. You can get that information and you may get a reward if it's a helpful tip.
And Maddie, I want to, update people because I know a lot of folks are going to be tuning in this morning trying to figure out their day, especially with a busy weekend here in New Orleans. We haven't gotten any indication yet from the sheriff's office or any other law enforcement agencies about any sort of planned media availabilities, I guess you will, for today at all. Have you heard anything of that nature? I mean, we do expect them to say something, but they haven't released any information as to when they might do that yet, have they?
You're right, Rob. We haven't gotten any word from the sheriff or her communications folks about a planned media event. Now, they can be reactionary, right, if they capture another inmate. Like we saw yesterday, the NOPD and the sheriff's office holding press conferences, updating the public as that information comes out. But remember, everybody needs to be staying vigilant right now. We heard it from the DA, Jason Williams, that these people can be considered armed and dangerous right now. They're in a very precarious situation here. They're evading arrest. They're trying to stay hidden, and they're trying to stay away from officers searching for them. So be alert, keep your head on a swivel. If you're local and if you're visiting us, just enjoy the city, of course. You don't need to feel nervous, but just be aware of your surroundings. And remember, 911 is only a phone call away. There are officers patrolling around the jail area here. We're told that they're patrolling around the city as well. We mentioned at the beginning of the hour that reports came into our newsroom of helicopters heard flying above head. So with daylight always comes day 2 of another investigation here and furthering this investigation to find those 7 escapees that remain at large.
All right. Well, thank you, Maddie.
Craziness. And I did look for an update, and they are still... There are still 7 on the loose. And one thing I don't think they mentioned in that clip that I just saw on the AP was that the absence, so it says the absence of the 10 men who also utilized facility deficiencies that officials have long complained about in their escape went unnoticed for hours. It was not until a routine morning head count more than 7 hours later that law enforcement learned of the escape. So these 10 inmates had 7 hours to go somewhere. Crazy. Hey, citizen, how are you? So I have one last story for us, and it's a feel-good story about a tortie cat who is going to be reunited with her family after, I believe it was 4 years. 4 years. So title of it is Kansas City Cat will make cross-country journey to reunite with family after being separated. She's so sweet. I am impartial with all cats, but my favorite are torties and calicos. Torties and calicos.
How a heartwarming reunion is in the works 4 years after a family's cat disappeared.
KBC 9's Darissa White has the incredible story of the Good Samaritan who helped bring her back to her owner.
She is wrapped in a towel and
4 long years on her
Oh yeah,
own.
4 years.
Oh, you do want to leave. Don't go.
A lost cat named Kira-san, or Kurai for short, is finally on her way back home.
Aw, poor Beanie.
Homeowner Maggie Doors spotted a stray cat close to their front porch.
I left some food out for her, and the food was, we never saw her, but the food was gone.
After some coaxing with treats, the cat warmed up and they called Overland Park's animal control.
We need to find out if she has an owner.
With one scan of a
Wow, she had
microchip,
And I left it upstairs window open,
her owner, Chris, was located all the way in Alaska.
leaving signs and looking for footprints and checking under porches. And over the years, just not being able to find her and always having that question in my mind how she was doing out there.
And
Wait,
somehow,
that's not the same cat. Hold on. There's no way that can be the same cat. That's a Siamese. Okay.
Being able to find her and always having that question in my mind
Cat's
how
out of
she
the
was
box.
doing out there.
and somehow,
twist.
after 4 years, she survived. A little skittish, but otherwise in perfect health.
She looks good for being gone so long. I mean, cats are really resilient.
The microchip led Kurai straight to Chris.
I just can't wait to see her.
Maybe that is the same
my heart's
cat. It has
fluttering
the
a little
same
bit.
nose
Maggie is
pattern.
being praised for her quick and compassionate thinking.
We're happy. Bittersweet. But no, we're happy that she's going to get reunited with her owner.
Well, the next step for Kira-san is to make sure she's healthy, and that's exactly what the veterinarian is going to do. They're going to give her her shots and send her on her next journey to Alaska. Reporting in Mission, Darissa White, KBC 9 News.
Well, a journey to Alaska should be nothing. Chris wants to thank everyone who helped bring his cat home. He says he's excited to get her acclimated to Alaska.
How a
Okay,
heartwarming
I need to go back and look at that kitten picture again. I mean, I guess the fur could have. Oops, went too far. See, the nose pattern. The nose pattern is the same. That is the same cat. So her fur just got darker, I guess, as she got older. So she's not a tortie. That's crazy. That's the same kitty. Yeah, her nose pattern is the same. That's so sweet, though. I'm so glad that she was able to find her way. I don't think it's a stock photo. It seems like it was. Let me go back to it and just see. Yeah, it looks like he must have shared that with. You know, I'm going to Google, can Siamese cats fur get darker with age? Oh, who would have known? Siamese cat fur can get darker with age. Siamese cats have a genetic condition that causes their fur to darken when their body temperature is below a certain point. As they age, their body temperature can naturally decrease in some areas, leading to darker fur, particularly in regions that were previously lighter. Siamese cats, like other color point cats, have a mutation that causes their fur to darken in cooler areas of their bodies. Could be Murray, could be mixed breed. Colder environments can also contribute to darker fur in Siamese cats. And body fat can also influence coat color, as fat has a lower average temperature. Yeah, me too, BB. I had no idea. I totally thought she was a tortie. Huh. There's even a video. Actually, I'm not going to play it. But I want to see. Nope, pause. They show a picture. Their thumbnail kind of showed. Let's see, Momo Siamese. See if I. All right. Let me see if I can find that thumbnail on their page. Because it kind of, on their thumbnail, it shows like when the cat was a baby to what he is now. And it's pretty incredible. Oh gosh, they have so many videos. Okay, so here I got to the bottom. Oh well. I can't find the actual video to show the thumbnail, but we learned something new today. Definitely did. Aww. Let me get back over to chat here. Marie says, mine had beautiful blue eyes. She was mean when I was pregnant. I had to rehome her. Oh, that's sad. Hey, Grain. Look at the teacher learning us something today. Listen, I'm learning something myself because I hadn't realized that their fur got darker based on temperature. And it said that's why their tail and their feet are usually darker, is because those are cooler areas of their body. I had no idea. No idea. Aw, Twist, that's sweet. All right, so I don't have anything else for you. I think I will go live tomorrow. I haven't decided. I have to finish my laundry room because I took everything out of it so that I can mop. I was going to mop tonight, but I'm like, so I'll do it tomorrow. But I think I will, because I want to talk about, one, I want to show the court hearing for Kelly Bryant, who is that mom in Pontiac, Michigan, who abandoned her children for 4 to 5 years. And then there's another story that from New Jersey of a mom and her husband who kept her child captive for 7 years. 7 years. I was going to talk about it today, but I thought I wouldn't have enough time, and I wanted to do justice. So I think and those two are somewhat aligned. And there was another one, I can't remember where it was, but I did see another, almost reminded me of the Turpin case. So I think I will go live tomorrow. I just don't know when. probably, well, I probably could do around my normal time, 4:30, but it all depends on what I'm doing. All depends on what I'm doing. The girl shooter. You did tell me about that the other day. I don't know where my notes are. Let's see. News. Sorted by date. I like dogs twist. I'm more of a cat person, but I don't dislike dogs. I don't like dog slobber. Like I just don't like when they like lick you. It's just gross to me. But I like dogs. I'm trying to find. There's a lot of oh, is this it? Madison, Wisconsin? Oh, I just saw your message. Here it is. So it says, father of 15-year-old Wisconsin Christian school shooter hit with felony charges. And this was from May 9th. Let me share this. Share. So it says, father of 15-year-old. I read that. He faces 2 counts of intentionally giving a dangerous weapon to a person under 18, causing death, and contributing to the delinquency of a child. Authorities have charged the father of the 15-year-old shooter who killed 2 people and injured 6 others at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin in December. Jeffrey Rupno, 42, is accused of giving his daughter access to the pistols that she used in her attack. The teenage female shooter, who just 4 months prior had started attending Abundant Life, opened fire in a study hall on December 16th, killing teacher Erin Michelle West and 14-year-old student Ruby Bergara. The shooter, who will not be named per Daily Wire policy, then turned the gun on herself and was found dead by responding officers. Repno faces 2 counts of intentionally giving a dangerous weapon to a person under 18, causing death, and contributing to the delinquency of the child. He is scheduled to make his first court appearance on Friday. Okay, so that would have been 17 minus 7 is 10, the 10th. The criminal complaint against Repno says that his daughter spiraled after her parents divorced, expressing a hatred of humanity, according to ABC News. Court records showed that the shooter was in therapy over her troubled home life and would often bounce back and forth between her mother and father. Her parents divorced in 2014, remarried in 2017, divorced again in 2020, and then remarried for a second time, the Washington Post reported. By April 2021, the couple petitioned for a third divorce and were admonished by a judge concerning remarriage. The criminal complaint states that Rupno attempted to bond with his daughter through firearms. According to the complaint, Rupno bought his daughter a 9mm pistol and a .22 caliber Sig Sauer pistol. Rupno allegedly bought the Sig Sauer pistol for Christmas in 2023 when she would have been just 14 years old. Her father told investigators that following the divorce, his daughter started cutting herself so badly that he had to lock up all the knives in his home. But you give her a gun. After taking her shooting with him on a friend's property to connect with her, Rupno told investigators he was stunned at how quickly her interest in guns snowballed. Rupno kept the guns he got for his daughter in a gun safe, but gave her the combination to open it. Just 10 days before the deadly attack on the Christian school, Rupno texted a friend that his daughter would shoot him if he left the fun safe open right now, according to the complaint. The father expressed regret to investigators about teaching his daughter about firearms and urged police to encourage people to change the combination on their gun safes frequently. Investigators discovered a 6-page manifesto in the shooter's bedroom in her father's house, along with maps of the school and a schedule of how she would carry out the attack. In her manifesto, which was titled War Against Humanity, the shooter wrote that she hated people who don't care and smoke their lungs out with weed or drink as much as they can, like my own father. The felony charges against Rupno continue a new practice of prosecutors going after the parents of mass shooters. Last year, both parents of the Oxford, Michigan high school shooter were convicted of involuntary manslaughter, becoming the first parents convicted of crimes connected to their child carrying out a mass shooting. The father of a 14-year-old boy who opened fire and killed 4 people at a high school in Georgia last year also faces second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter charges. Oh my gosh, let me actually click on this hyperlink. I haven't checked in with the Georgia case in a while either. And his name was, starts with an H, I think. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Winder, Georgia. His dad had a name similar to him. Colt. So it wasn't an H. So Colt Gray is the son. And the dad is Colin. So let me look up Colin Gray. Actually, yeah, we'll look up both. Colin Gray. News. Oh, it looks like he had a court hearing last week. The Sun did. Interesting. So it says lawyer signals teen accused in Georgia school shooting that killed 4 is likely to plead guilty. A lawyer on Tuesday said, these ads. A lawyer on Tuesday said the teen accused of killing 4 people in a shooting at Georgia's Appalachia High School is moving toward pleading guilty. Defense attorney Alfonso D. Kraft told Barrow County Superior Court Judge Nick Prim in a brief hearing that Colt Gray could be ready for a plea hearing in October. Wow, that's a long time. A psychologist is scheduled to meet with Gray soon, Kraft said, adding that his client would likely be ready for a plea hearing after the psychologist's report is ready. We should be good to go. The September 4th shooting killed teachers Richard Ricky Aspinwall, 39, and Christina Irami, 53, students Mason Shimmerhorn and Christian Angulo, both 14. Another teacher and 8 more students were wounded, 7 of them hit by gunfire. Colt Gray, then 14, was indicted on a total of 55 counts, including murder and the deaths of 4 people and 25 counts of aggravated assault. Grand jurors formally charged his father, Colin Gray, with 29 counts, including 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Both also faced multiple counts of cruelty to children. Colt Gray was charged as an adult. Both initially pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors said in court Tuesday they were looking to accept a non-negotiated plea, which would mean they would not recommend a lower sentence. The key issue in any plea is likely to be whether Gray is sentenced to life without parole or will get a chance at later parole. As a juvenile, he cannot be sentenced to death. Prim told Kraft and prosecutors to work out a date after the scheduled September trial of Colin Gray. Okay, so Colin Gray, dad, isn't going to trial until September. Wow, that's a long time out. I think the October timing works well because Colin Gray's trial is scheduled in September, Prim said, saying a later plea would avoid pretrial publicity that could be okay, there's a typo. That could taint the ability to find unbiased jurors in Colin Gray's case. Prim in April ordered that jurors in Colin Gray's trial would not be drawn from Barrow County, granting a rare change of venue. Colt Gray appeared by video Tuesday from a juvenile detention center where he is being held. Relatives of Aspinwall said after the hearing they want a sentence of life without parole for Gray. If he wants to plead guilty, it would be a better route for everybody. Get it behind us, said Kevin Zink, Aspinwall's father-in-law. I'd like to see it end. The sooner it ends, the better for all of us. I tend to agree. Zink said District Attorney Brad Smith had told relatives he would not accept a lighter sentence in exchange for a guilty plea. Richard Aspinwall Sr., Ricky's father, said he might favor a trial to make an example of Gray. Maybe it'll make other people think twice about trying to pull something. Investigators have testified that Colt Gray carried a semi-automatic assault-style rifle given to him by his father onto the school bus with a barrel wrapped in a poster board. They say the boy left his second period class and emerged from a bathroom with the rifle, shooting people in a classroom and hallway. And then it gets into the history of that, which I did do a live on that when it happened. So that is what's happening with Colt Gray. Let me look to see. So obviously we know the dad is also going to be going to trial, but let's see if there's any. And they're saying that this Colt Gray had a distinct difference in his appearance, but I'm not seeing anything that shows. Maybe they didn't allow cameras in the second time. Wild. Hey, Purple Freak. Thanks for being here. All right, y'all. Well, that brings us to my almost 2 hours. So thanks everybody for being here. As I said, I do plan on going live tomorrow to at least show the court hearing for Kelly Bryant. And I also want to talk about that mom and stepdad, who I don't know if it's just that we've been seeing it more, but like with the Connecticut case, God, and I forgot her name. Kimberly Sullivan, with her holding her stepson for at least 20 years captive. Now we have these people in New Jersey. And I believe the New Jersey couple is who kept their child in a cage. I just don't understand how someone can be so mean to another human, let alone a child. I just don't understand it. So I will plan on going live around my normal time of 4:30 Eastern time, but definitely be sure that your notifications are on. If you aren't subscribed, I would strongly suggest you subscribe. And if you haven't checked out my shorts, definitely check them out, because a lot of the stories that wouldn't necessarily be enough for a live stream, I put on, and actually, you know, I'm going to show one of my shorts before I go. This is going to be before I go. I'm going to show you this short that I did. This little cat. I showed it to Center, and he's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "It's a kitten. It's so cute." All right, let's see. So cute. All right, come on. Let's go here. View my channel. Shorts. I named it Caterpillar Calico. Oh, shoot. I got to share it. Share screen. Share. I'm going to make it bigger. All right, so I'm going to show you this little kitty caterpillar. And then, Caterpillar Calico. She looks like, this little baby looks like a caterpillar. She's so freaking cute. The way you say kitten is so cute. Well, I also don't, allegedly, you know, we've had this discussion before. I don't pronounce my T's. So I say kitten. Like in my head, I'm saying the T's. But yeah, it's been a topic of discussion, I should say. And there was another word that I say, I guess, is different, but kitten was the one that really, I guess, stood out. So I'm going to leave you with Caterpillar Calico, and then I'll play my outro. So if I don't see you all on these YouTube streets, I will see you all on the flip side. Enjoy Caterpillar Calico. She's so cute.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play? Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on. Cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. So on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I'm so gone, faded off a 30 rack. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I rap with a passion, yeah, I got it in me. I've been waiting quite a long time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice on this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.